So, our learning outcomes today, I want to empower you to leverage Conmigo's capabilities. That's really what this learning workshop series has been all about. As a teacher, getting some of that time back for the administrative task and getting that thought partner to help you in making those decisions. And one way that I want you to really take and think about today is leveraging Conmigo's capabilities to gain deeper insights into your student understanding and progress. So we've got to identify where your students are in order for you to celebrate how far that they've come. And so during our time today, we are going to learn about how to identify both outstanding examples of student work and specific areas where students can improve through using Conmigo's feedback and analytics. We're going to share and equip each other with practical strategies for effectively celebrating student achievement, and we're also going to foster a positive learning environment. I want to make a note today that today's session is short. It is just a brief 30 minutes, and so we are going to highlight some features directly in Khan Academy and Khanmigo that are connected to the partnerships. I do want to say we will also highlight some resources and strategies that any teachers can use to support and celebrate student learning. So my challenge to you this afternoon is to listen for maybe that one thing. What is your one thing that you are either missing in your room, or it is something that is just not working the way that you want it to work? And what is something that you hear today that you can take away and utilize in your classroom? And so we're first going to start with Conmigo's features. We're going to look at and explore how you can leverage Conmigo's capabilities to gain deeper insights into that student progress and understanding. And if you are a current partner, or you have a rostered account, or you simply are watching and want to jot down, there are two different ways that you can follow along today. And I would love for you to join me in whichever way works best for how you learn. I am going to go to my dashboard. All right, so when I am live on my dashboard, one of the features, this tool specifically comes with the paid district partnership. So Khan Academy is a nonprofit, and there are a lot of our features and our content that you can access anytime, anywhere for free. This particular tool that I'm going to highlight and demo for you is part of the paid partnership. So if you are in a district that is one of our Khan Academy districts through either a state deal or something that has been purchased within your district or your campus, this tool is going to be something that you see on your dashboard. If you are not part of the district partnership, this is a tool that if you are looking for consistent feedback and ways to monitor student usage of AI, this could be a leverage tool for you to have those conversations with your campus administrators or your district personnel and try to get them to move in the direction with Conmigo. So first and foremost, I'm going to hop into Conmigo and I'm going to go to my teacher tools. And inside of my teacher tools, we over the course of this learning workshop series, we've highlighted for you all of these color-coded tabs where we're looking at the overarching category or task. And this particular tab I'm going to look at is under, or this tool is under support. So I'm going to go to support, and then it's this tool, summarize student chat history. Again, this is part of your paid partnership if you are with one of our Khan Academy districts.
Oh, okay.
So inside, you are going to click in and you will notice automatically that Conmigo is going to give you an option. It's going to ask you to choose a particular class. And so I am going to choose one of my classes. I would advise you and encourage you, if you are following along with me inside of your district rostered account, for you to choose one class. So I'm going to click on my dynamic action bubble. And from there, Conigo is going to kick into gear and give me some additional actions that I can look at. At this time, I have an opportunity to look at top topics, or what are my students talking about and doing with Conigo. I also have an opportunity to look at and view my students with any flagged conversations. So one of the major features with Conigo is our moderation system. We have lots of protocols in place to make sure that students are staying safe, and their chats and interactions with Conigo are very learning focused. So at this time, I am going to look for view top topics. So I'm going to click on that. And Conigo is going to think about it, and then it asks me some follow-up questions. So you'll notice it'll ask me which days I would like to summarize. So it gives me an opportunity to adjust my time frame. I can go small, I can go within the last 7 days, I could go for the last month, or if I'm looking at over the last 6 weeks, that's also something that I can do. And you'll see any date in the last 60 days. So I'm going to go with last week. I will stop and make a note of the accessibility feature. So we talk about that a lot for students, but you as educators also have those same features. There is a text to speech and a speech to text availability. And here's what Conmigo provided for me. So for the last week, these are the topics that were discussed, and then I can see the number of students who engaged in those particular topics. And then from here, I have an opportunity to hone in even further. So with summarizing student chat history, I'm able to go from a macro view of a class down to the tiniest view within individual students. And this really gives me a great opportunity to gather some qualitative data and insights on how my students are using AI, what kinds of conversations, but also their learning. Because ultimately, that's why we've got AI. That's why we have Khanmigo and Khan Academy, and how those two things are going to work together. You can see the list of students for each topic, and it gives me the individual topics. And so when I click on chat with characters, this is a particular learner activity. Conmigo is then going to continue the interaction moving forward and allow me to see which particular student was here. And then I can also see what and who they chatted on and when that happened that happened to happen. And so from here, there's also a really great way. So this gives you kind of a comprehensive view, but then I have a point where I have a particular student. And from here, I could ask additional questions, or I could close this out. I also wanted to show you that you have the capability to drill down to see the actual chat for a particular student. And this is another way that you can grab that information from Conmigo and utilize Conmigo to summarize very quickly some of that qualitative data. So I'm going to click the button up at the top, the Khan Academy. It's going to send me back home. And this is my teacher dashboard, and I'm going to focus my efforts up here. So if you'll notice, I have different tabs that I can choose from. And if you have attended any of our other learning workshops, we go into this Conmigo Tools tab often. We've probably addressed this classes tool, and then we will talk a little bit more about the resources tool. And I believe we've discussed it in other sessions. But I want us to focus on this student tool. So we're going to go ahead and click on classes first, but we'll talk about students. When I look at my students, I do have the ability to hone in on a particular student, and I can get into their information and additional data from there. I can also do it through my classes. When I go in through my classes, I'm going to choose my individual students. And I can see my individual students that are here. And I'm looking for my chat history. And y'all, I think I might have just, nope, there it is. I can see what's happening with a lot of the activity. I also have availability to switch it up and see my individual activities. I can hone in on specific Conmigo activities for this particular student. So you will notice here that there are some Conmigo activities that have been assigned, and this student has not had an opportunity to look through that. If I go back to my teacher dashboard, I can click on students, and I can also come down and do the same thing. So in my last little Conmigo interaction, you saw the name Cass or Thomas Cass. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Thomas. And from here, this is the student dashboard. This is what your students will see when they are on Khan Academy, if they're in the district partnership or if you're utilizing the free version. And then over on the left-hand side, there is a space under Conmigo for you to see chat history. And so for this particular student, I'm able to click on chat history. And then underneath, I can change my date range. And then I can see with each day how many and which type of chats my student, this particular student, has actually interacted with or opened up. And I can also kind of get an idea of what the content is. So our example was chatting with historical figures. So I can click on that and I get a summarized chat history. So literally exactly what Conigo said versus what the student asked them and also talked about is available for you to read. And this is going to give you a really great picture of their learning and their understanding for a particular topic and or a particular learner activity. Couple of questions I want you to think about. If you are jotting notes down as you are watching and you are here with us today, first question I would love for you to jot a few things down for is what could this tell you about your student? We've talked about that qualitative data, some anecdotes, you're going to see student learning, but exactly what could this tell you about the student? So I want you to jot down a couple of things. And then a second question for you today, how could you use this to support engaging learner behaviors? So using AI is not something that our students naturally know how to do appropriately. They're going to try it. They're going to muddle through it and they're going to figure out on their own. And they might also have some not so good learner behaviors. And so thinking about how you could utilize a chat history to help support those engaging learner behaviors and help use that as an exemplar, if you will. And so once we kind of highlight and understand how to see what students are actually doing inside with Conmigo, it's also really great to be able to monitor and look for some quantitative numbers as well as some additional qualitative, and then also celebrate that Conmigo progress. So I'm going to go back onto the platform. I am back on the platform and I am going to hit this button to send me to my teacher dashboard. So a couple of things I want you to think about in terms of Conmigo. I want you to think about usage and I want you to think about activity. So when I say usage, about how much time is actually being spent with Conmigo. And when I say activity, I want you to think about the intention or the how. How are the students engaging with Conmigo? And so I'm going to pop into one of my district synced classes. And on the far left side, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to look for Conmigo. And you'll notice that those two words, usage and activity, are the two things that are listed underneath as something that I can access as far as a report. So I'm going to click on usage. And you'll notice that it's going to give me exactly that, the time spent utilizing Conmigo. So I can see over the course of time how many students, and you'll notice it gives it to me in weekly chunks, So in this particular instance, this particular week is going to have a few more students. I can also adjust the date range depending on what I'm looking at. So I can hover and it will elaborate and give me more information about the students and the percentage and how many of them were active and the time frame. When I scroll down, I then can look at each individual student in that particular class, and then I have some direct number insights. For each student, I can see how many chats that they've had with Conigo, just how frequently are they interacting. I can also see the number of messages. So that back and forth, that discourse, is it just a hi, give me an answer, or opening up and saying one thing? And then I can also see how many different activities that they engage with Conmigo. This particular student has 10. And then the most important that I wanted to draw attention to is this flag chat. So here again, our moderation and safety protocols we have in place. You have a very quick way to view the flag chats per your intentional students. So this is all about usage. This is when students are utilizing Conmigo. The other tab is this activity tab. And here it will give you an idea of all of your students. And again, you can make an adjustment for the time frame. If you wanted to look for the last week, for the last month, or overall, you could. And then it lists for you all of the individual activities with Conmigo that students could possibly be engaged with. And then you see the number of chats that are unique chats that are associated with that particular excerpt or that particular activity. You will notice that 3 of these activities have a little caret out to the side. These are associated with content inside of a course somewhere on our platform. With the caret, if I touch the caret, I'm able to expand out and I can see in which course has this activity actually been activated and this interaction happened. So I can see that it's happened within Algebra 1. And then there's another little caret. So I can click on that and it will show me which unit of study I have these unique chats and I can see how many, and then the percentage of the unique chats that are happening within that particular unit of study. So it's going to give me an idea of the content that my students are requesting support on and how they're utilizing Conmigo in companion with their learning across the board. And so these two reports are a really great way for you to monitor your students' progress when they are utilizing Conmigo in the classroom, whether it be those standalone activities or within the content in the courses. The flip side of that, once you start to monitor, it's also really great for you to identify where you need to celebrate some student progress and student learning, and even just moving forward and learning with Conmigo or utilizing Conmigo. And so we're going to go back to our dashboard and we're going to address this 4th tab that's up at the top is our resource tab. So if you have not had an opportunity, either you in a district partnership or you utilizing the free version, you have access to these resources. Inside this, you will note that there is a tab that says printables, and I'm going to scroll past and go to my engagement printables. These are all Blackline masters that are available for you to click, make a copy, and make any adjustments that you might want to. One thing I wanted to highlight for you is this certificate resource. So we're at the end of the year. I know that awards assemblies are happening. I know that end of year recognition is going on. There's just a lot of closing out of the school year. And there might be a student or a few students who have worked really hard with Conmigo or worked really hard inside of Khan Academy. And so I want to show you the certificate. This is an opportunity for you to make a copy. And you'll notice that it is inside a Google Slides, which means once you make a copy of it, you can also edit. These 5 examples, I go from Mastery Captain to Grand Tutor, Mastery Challenger, Certificate of Appreciation, but also Mastery Captain. So right now, all of these certificates are really focused in on Khan Academy and our courses. But you can utilize Conigo to help support you get some ideas for Conigo type awards. So I want to show you what that looks like. I'm going to keep this here and I'm going to go back to my Khan Academy and I'm going to go Khan Academy and I'm going to go to my teacher tools. And then I'm going to go to my Learn tab and my chat with GPT. And inside my chat with GPT, I'm going to say, give me 5 award names for a teacher to give out to students related to how they engage with Conigo, period. And voila, in just a matter of seconds, you don't have to think about potential awards. You can get ideas for award names and then utilize the reports that I have shown you here today to find those students who meet this particular criteria. Then you can use our certificates. So I could come in here and I could literally say this very first one is Conmigo Explore Award. I can come in here and I can say Conmigo Explorer Award. I can make adjustments to my template. I may need to make this just a little bit smaller. And I spelled award wrong. There we go. Put the name of the student there, then you could print it out, sign it, and then you can give it. And you can have a cute little awards assembly inside of this particular classroom to highlight students who have really gone above and beyond utilizing Conmigo to help support their particular learning. You'll notice it'll give you the award and then it gives you a little blurb looking for which students are the ones that you might want to consider for your certificates. Curiosity Champion, Collaboration Star, Persistence Pioneer Award. I love that for students who just keep going and working through those challenges, utilizing Conmigo. And then, of course, always your creative thinker. Those are all different ways and different awards that you might consider using as we close out our year and you've been utilizing Khan Academy and or Conmigo. And with that, our time is drawing to a quick close. I just wanted to reintroduce the Arizona team, but also the West Coast team that supports you. We are all here. We are a dedicated Khan Academy team. We want to answer questions and support you in your classroom. And as India pointed out, India is one of my colleagues here with Khan Academy, and she is one of the team members as well, that the reports can give great insight into student usage and learning. So those are things that you want to consider putting together. And as this is the last learning workshop of this spring series, our team to you, we really wanted to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for attending our series. It was fast and furious. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground and a lot of content, and we truly appreciate your partnership, whether it is through a district partnership and you are a rostered teacher, or it is through grassroots usage, or you have come to these series to learn more and to arm yourself with information to go back to your administrators or your district personnel. And we are here to further our mission of a free world-class education for anyone, anywhere. And so we're just here to help support you and give you the tools and resources